Smartphones. Anytime technology advances, it introduces a new solution. But unfortunately, it also introduces new problems. Yes, smartphones come with their issues too. Research shows that increased phone use is not only correlated with worsening mental health, but physical health as well. We're going to talk about that, and I'll give you 3 tips to reduce your screen time. Stick around. This is Real Life Psych. Hi everyone, my name's Alexa Simos, and I'm a licensed therapist as well as certified drug and alcohol abuse counselor. Welcome to my channel and the very first episode of Real Life Psych, where we break down common, everyday issues that have a significant influence on our mental and physical health, whether we realize it or not. New episodes will be coming out every Sunday for what I like to call not so scary Sundays. So whether you're dreading dragging yourself to work or school the next day, or you're hungover and regret sending that risky text from 3 a.m., this is our opportunity to process these thoughts from a psychological standpoint so that you can better take on the challenges of your upcoming week. Phone addiction. So I hear this one a lot. People often say, I'm addicted to my phone. They're typically saying it jokingly, but some very serious. Some people will read about it and ask me, is it a real thing? Or if it is, what's so bad about it? First of all, if you're watching this on your phone, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I just want you to hear me out. Though a clinical diagnosis hasn't been formally made yet, it's been thoroughly researched because there's a lot of evidence that there are serious consequences to prolonged screen time. Not only can it affect your mental health like this study by the University of Illinois shows us, there's research that it shows that it can affect your physical health as well. When thinking back to the progression of a smartphone, it seems like it's become more of a lifeline than its initial purpose of being a communication device. We are glued to these little digital rectangles that fit right in our pocket. Many people justify constantly checking their social media with wanting to always be connected. An even better feeling is when we can hit the group text and be the first ones with the news. So-and-so just had a baby, traffic jam on my favorite route home, Zara's having a sale. We're all kind of like mini reporters. Unfortunately, a connection to the digital world is in some ways contributing to a disconnect with reality. Do me a favor. Just like you're probably scared to check your bank account after a big purchase to avoid the guilt, I want you to check your screen time right now. Let it sink in, and we can discuss some of the pitfalls and solutions to phone addiction. For starters, it's called addiction for a reason. When we get notifications or little points for beating games like Candy Crush and the screen lights up, we get little bursts of dopamine sent to our brains. And when we put our phones down because a lecture is starting or it's time to get focused with our work, we naturally miss that feeling that the dopamine gave us and make us look forward to refreshing our screens and getting some more. It creates what we call a compulsion loop, which happens to be the same loop response for the behaviors associated with nicotine and cocaine. So that feeling when you refresh your phone and more likes instantaneously come in, it's not random. Some social media apps purposely design themselves for you not to see your likes until you refresh, so you can feel a rush when a large burst come in at once. Now, let's talk pitfalls. According to a research article published in 2015, adolescents who reported higher screen time on their devices were more likely to have poor mental health and academic outcomes. Most reported mental health symptoms were associated with low self-esteem and depressive symptoms. Let's think about this for a second. Being on your phone and comparing your life standards to what you're not living up to, or seeing a lot of negativity can bring you down. So often, depression leads to social isolation. And what do many people turn to when they're isolated? Their phones. Moving on to physical health. In 2019, the American Cardiologist Association found people who use their phones for more than 5 hours a day were more likely to have a diet consisting of sugary drinks and fast food. Additionally, there was a correlation with increased weight gain due to the sedentary activity of being on your phone. Whether they're sitting on their couch or bed, spending a prolonged period of time of a sedentary lifestyle can lead to premature death due to the development of diabetes or heart disease. Here's how bad it's getting. On average, teens spend 7 hours and 22 minutes per day on their phones. Now, look back at your screen time. Hopefully it's not this bad. That's like a full day of school just spent endlessly scrolling into the depths of the social media vortex. And to make things worse, the age in which a child receives a smartphone continues to get younger. A study found in 2019 found that 1 in 5 8-year-olds have a smartphone, which is an 11% increase from 2015. So now imagine how toddlers will be when Gen X become parents. The earlier kids are receiving phones and the more usage on these devices can lead to an even more dependence on technology. Scary enough? Sorry, but I had to. Here are 3 tips to consider to reduce your screen time and improve your digital wellness. The obvious answer is to switch to a flip phone and never use a smartphone again. But I know that might be way too drastic for people, including myself. Here are more practical tips. Number 1, turn off notifications and delete apps altogether. This way, you control social media and don't let it control you. You decide when it's time to seek information versus when you need a break, helping you break free from that compulsion loop we talked about earlier. Number 2, set a limit. Set a weekly and daily screen time limit for yourself. So yes, you can't keep avoiding your screen time. Check it and set achievable goals so that eventually this is drastically reduced. Number 3, fill the void. Now, instead of just sitting there with this empty void of free time, replace that with a hobby that doesn't allow for screen time. Whether it's a puzzle, a new workout routine, or maybe even going for a walk, replace that screen time. Will make it a lot easier to go without it. I leave you with this. If you were on the Titanic and the ship was sinking, are you the person that would need a notification on your phone before even realizing what was happening? Let's work together in finding that right balance. Thanks for tuning in to the very first episode of Not So Scary Sundays, because Sundays don't have to be so scary as long as we can reflect. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe to get more content. Remember, self-improvement begins with self-awareness. Next week, we're going to talk about how to protect your mental health in the early stages of a relationship. See you next week.